This is our last section of Charlottetown. I'd like you to take a moment and look at this photograph here. Um, and this is an auditorium, or in other words, the pool. And the pool had drained. And this is a really important part of Treadwell history. So let's read and find out what happened. The end of Treadwell. In April of 1917, everything changed for the people of Treadwell. For some time, engineers had warned the underground mines were unsafe because there were not enough supporting walls. But the company wanted to keep on making money, and so they did not move fast enough to help the situation. On Friday, April 20th, Treadwell ladies were enjoying a swim in the tank when all of a sudden, all the water was sucked out in one great whooshing gulp through a crack located in the corner of the pool. The ladies ran out of the natatorium. Luckily, nobody was hurt. This is the building that actually housed the natatorium, or the pool itself. I want you to notice how it looks like it's uneven. So the ground underneath it was unsettling. The next day, on Saturday afternoon, townsfolk noticed that the natatorium, swimming pool, was sagging in the middle. They were so scared and worried that the building with the pool would collapse. The workmen quickly removed all the fixtures from the building. By nighttime, the natatorium was drooping even more, but it was still standing, so everybody went about their regular business. My mother and father went to the regular Saturday night silent movie at the Treadwell Club, which was close by the natatorium. When the movie ended, my parents heard talk that the building wouldn't stand much longer, so many people gathered in a well-lit area to watch. They were not prepared for what happened next. I want you to take a moment. I want you to make a prediction about what do you think happened next. And it has something to do with the natatorium. The ground around the natatorium, including the fire hall, part of the railroad track, and a small outbuilding, slipped sideways and dropped straight down into the earth. My mother said people were terrified as water roared up and spouted hundreds of feet into the air. They said it was a miracle that nobody was sucked into the big hole. So this is where the natatorium and the buildings, including the fire hall, got sucked into the earth. And it's because of the structure of the tunnels were so weakened that it wasn't able to hold itself up. And also there was a very high tide, and that also contributed to this. Look at those buildings on the edge. What do you notice in this photograph? Look at the water. Look at how the ground looks like it probably changed. So that's the end of our story of Charlottetown. And to give you a little bit of history about the town of Treadwell after this occurred, sadly, people ended up having to leave the town because since the mines filled up with water and they were collapsed, or the biggest mine, they weren't able to continue to do a lot of the mining work anymore. They were able to do some work in, I believe, one of the mines, but they didn't need all the miners anymore. So the miners needed to leave to look for other work, and eventually the support staff, or the people that kind of kept the town running, didn't have people to do that for anymore. So they ended up leaving too. Charlotte and her family moved to the town of Douglas, which was right next door, and they stayed there for about a year. And then eventually they moved down south to Oregon. And within time, sadly, um, nobody was left in Treadwell. They closed the post office, they closed things in the town. But it's really important for us to remember that Treadwell had an amazing history and it was a really active, lovely town with people just like you and me and your friends and your family. And people have very fond memories of living there. So I highly recommend that you take some time and you head down to where Sandy Beach is today, because that is where Treadwell stood. So if you walk into the woods, you'll be able to see some artifacts of the town from over 100 years ago. Please remember to leave everything where it is. But go visit Charlottetown. She would really like to think that you would be interested in her history. Thank you for listening.